Hello everyone. So in the last video we have done a small for loop example, and we have even done a demo as well. So now you know what does it mean to write a for loop, right? Basically, so what these things are what these things are for. Now you know it. What does it I is equal to 1? What does this I is less than or equal to love 10? What does this I plus plus? What all these things mean? So you know now, right? So, and how this for loop flow works, you know now, because we have seen that also here, right? So if you don't know now, you have to watch my previous at least 3 or 4 videos where we started this for loop, and in a consequence you have to come here next to each other, then only you will understand. So this is fine. So now you know how to break it into pieces to understand it, and to understand the functionality, you know, right? You have to break it into pieces like this. So from this understanding, now you know, if we write like this, we will start from the first I value 1, and we will went up to I values 10 until these I values are changing from 1 to 10. We will get into this for loop and we will print the high. Okay, so we know it, we have done this. When the I value is passing the 10, we will find this for loop is false or false, and we will skip these things and we will move to the next line, and again we will move to the void loop and we will keep iterating there. Since there is nothing will happen. So how many times we will get into the for loop? 10 times, because I start from 1 and I goes up to 10. So using this I is changing nature, okay, I is changing now. So using this changing nature of I, we in a smart way we got into this for loop for that number of times, then we printed high for that number of times. You understood that? Yes. So now we will see a little bit different scenario. Okay, we want to print, when the high is printed, we want to print it which number of time it is being printed now. For example, when the high is printed first time, okay, we have to show not only high, we have to show high 1. So that means the user will know now high is printed the first time. When the high is printed the 5th time or 7th time or whatever the time, we have to show that number like that. So finally it will be high is 10. So we want to print that number, right? I mean that whatever the I value or whatever the time this for loop is running, that time, first time or second time or third time, also we have to print along with the high. So this is the requirement, right? So now how we can do it? Let's have a look. Earlier we were able to rotate this for loop 10 times, and what we printed was a constant value. That means a fixed value. It is not a varying value. It is not a variable. High is high. That's all, right? It's a fixed value. High is a fixed value. We only printed a fixed value, high or hello world or whatever. Same value we printed repetitively. Now, I mean, the same one should be printed under every iteration. Now it is not the case. At first iteration, along with the high, we have to have number 1. Second iteration, we have to have number 2. Third iteration, we have to have number 3. Fourth iteration, 4. Fifth iteration, 5th. Likewise, we have to print a varying value also along with the high. Okay, we are not only printing a constant, we are also going to print a variable. That means varying value. Okay, varying for what? Varying for each and every iteration. So it's a little bit tricky. So earlier we had to print high, so we typed high here, so we are good. Now we need a varying value. That value should be changing during each and every iteration. Okay, now look at this code and tell me which is the one that is changing during each and every iteration. Can we take some advantage from that? Okay, so is there anything in the code that is changing during each and every for loop iteration? You know the answer, right? I is the variable, or I is the one that is changing during each and every iteration of the for loop. Why? At the first time I is equal to 1, then we increment it. We manually increment it in the for loop. So next time I is 2. Okay, next time I is 3. Again we increment, I is 4. Likewise, we increase the I up to 10. So if we can find a way to print the I inside this for loop, okay, I mean here, if we find a way to print the I in this line, then we are good, right? Because during every iteration I value is increasing. During the first iteration I value is 1, second iteration I value is 2, third iteration I value is 3. Likewise I is increasing up to 10. So if we print the I value here in this line number 6, during every iteration we will have varying numbers. First iteration we will have number 1 printed, second iteration we will have number 2 printed, third iteration we will have number 3 printed, fourth iteration 4, 5, 6. Likewise until 10 we will print the numbers. Do you understand that? So how to print it? Okay, so nothing but this serial dot println I. Okay, so this should work. Obviously it should work, right? So to print it along with the high, okay, I will do a small hack. I will remove this ln part. Okay, or I will have only print here. Why I am telling you this is, when you have serial print, high will be printed and no new line will be created after the high. When you have a serial println, the particular thing will be printed and also a new line will be printed. That is this ln means. So it is an extra information I am telling to you, right? ln means after this value is printed or after high is printed, a new line also should be printed. That means ln. So if I have an ln here, okay, what will happen? After the high, a new line will be printed, then only I value will be printed. But what I want is, after the high in the same line, I want the I value to be printed. Okay, so here I want to remove the new line part. Okay, ln is removed. But after the 1 is printed, I want to have a new line, and again I have to print the high 2 in the next line. Okay, so where I print 1? Here, I. So here I will write print ln. That means once this number is printed, please create a new line, so that in the next iteration again another high and the value will be printed. You get it? If you don't get it, don't worry. If you understand until this thing, we can print the I value with as a variable. That's enough for me for now, right? So I will copy the code. I will not compile because I know it will get compiled, and I will use my simulation environment. Okay, I will go to the code. Let's clear it. Okay, I tested earlier. So I will control A. I will repaste it. Okay, so I pasted the code as I explained, and let's try to simulate it and see. Okay, I will start the simulation and see. So see, you are seeing that, right? So high number 1 is printed, high number 2 is printed, high 3 is printed, okay, high 4 is printed, 5, 7, 8 up to 10 printed. So you can simply understand the scenario now, right? So this is the I value that is being printed in each and every iteration. Pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so we can take advantage of this looping scenario, and we can print some fixed value, and also we can take advantage of the varying value, that I, and we can also print that to indicate the number of the iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you should understand that. So this is the second scenario. Earlier we just printed high, now we printed the number as well. Okay, it's very clear, right? 10 times 10 iterations. Okay guys, so stay tuned guys. I'll catch you up in the next video guys. Until then, stay safe.